You've got the professional legacy property manager side, which is the VRMA side. And you've got, I'll just refer to it as kind of the new young my side, right? It's the owners. It's also, there's co-hosts, which is different than property managing. And I think that's what's caused the majority of the rift and the regulations that are required to be followed to be a professional property manager versus the co-host. I think the legacy thinks that it's the workaround to where we don't have to become property managers. And I think a lot of that was true when it started, but I also think there's intentions to be a little bit more homeowner centric through a co-hosting model versus a property management model.
Welcome to the Vacation Rental Show. This is your essential playbook to grow and scale your vacation rental business with advice and insights from the best in the biz. I'm your host, Linnell Gordon. Welcome to the Vacation Rental Show. I'm Linnell Gordon, your host, and today I'm really excited to have Build Faeth with us. He is a seasoned real estate investor. He's an entrepreneur. He has 30 years of experience or more in our industry, guys, and after strategically, now he did this intentionally, transitioning much of his portfolio, he transitioned it from long-term rentals into short-term rentals, like in 2015 or so. And he's built a multi-million-dollar portfolio of high-performing properties, guys, vacation properties across beach, lake, mountain markets, all kinds of stuff. And he is the founder of Build STR Wealth. And he now helps investors to scale smarter, to create competitive advantages, and to build sustainable short-term rental businesses. I mean, guys, he's the real deal. He is really brilliant and is incredibly kind and mentorship-wise. He helps people to make more money. Welcome back, Bill. I'm so happy to have you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, that was an amazing intro. Not bad for a hobbyist in this space, right?
Okay, that comes down to a joke that you have to explain to everyone. So Bill is a hobbyist per Steve Schwab. Steve's giving him a hard time.
When I was in Coeur d'Alene 3 weeks ago with Steve and Brooke Faust from Vintory, and after a long day, we were there to do a rescue of a new franchisee for Steve's and who was struggling. They were brand new. They just got started. They inherited some pretty bad Vacasa properties. And, out of the goodness of Steve's heart, he just went there to help them, which he didn't have to do. They'd already been through his university, and he called Brooke and I to go there. So after, it might have been the very first night, a very long day, because we didn't walk into what we thought we were walking into.
Let me ask you this. Let's talk about, so people understand where you're coming from who may not know you. The two sides. What are we talking about? Two sides of what?
Two sides of the vacation rental industry or the STR industry. You've got the professional legacy property manager side, which is the VRMA side. And you've got, I'll just refer to it as kind of the new young my side, right? It's the owners. It's also, there's co-hosts, which is different than property managing. And I think that's what's caused the majority of the rift and the regulations that are required to be followed to be a professional property manager versus the co-host. I think the legacy thinks that it's the workaround to where we don't have to become property managers. And I think a lot of that was true when it started, but I also think there's intentions to be a little bit more homeowner centric through a co-hosting model versus a property management model. And before people start sending me hate DMs on Instagram or whatever, I want to be very clear here. I'm an owner. I have a $24 million portfolio that I own in 7 different states. I'm a co-host in 3 different states. And I'm also a property manager with 3 different property management companies in 3 different states right now. And I'll be adding 2 more states as well. So I get it. I'm doing all 3 of those things. And I think there's a world that, let's just use co-hosts and professional property managers because that's where the head's butt, right? I think there's a world where they both can learn from each other. I think there's a world where they can both operate together. And there are some things that co-hosts that are inexperienced or unwilling to do it the right way, they do it the wrong way, where they're actually collecting funds without trust accounts and, things like that, and they shouldn't be. But I think there's definitely a world where everybody can cohabitate together, and most importantly, we can learn from each other.
Hopefully you can train. You can do some training there. What do you think about what's happening in the Alabama coast with the Airbnb issues that they've had?
Like what issues specifically? Because I haven't had any issues down there.
Okay, specifically with some of the legislation that's being pushed through the merchant of record issue.
So I don't know anything about that legislation that's going through, right? So I co-host down in that market, right? The merchant of record are the owners of the homes. And all I do is provide hospitality and marketing for them. I don't touch their money.
Are you the merchant of record? Or if it comes to Airbnb, is Airbnb the merchant of record?
Airbnb would be the merchant of record, and then usually the homeowner is the merchant of record for Vrbo and also their direct bookings. Yeah.
Right, of course. I'm specifically talking about the issue with Airbnb. What if 3 days could define the next horizon for your business? Streamline Summit 2026 is coming to the Rosen Creek Hotel in Orlando, Florida, September 15th through the 17th. Visit streamlinesummit.com to secure your spot today. Here's what's in store. Day 1 kicks off with roundtables, one-on-one meetings, and a welcome cocktail event. Days 2 and 3 bring keynote speakers, expert-led sessions and panels, plus an exhibitor showcase built around the tools that are transforming our industry. Each evening brings something to look forward to as well, capping off with a farewell event on the final night. Because 3 days of momentum deserve a proper send-off. This is where vacation rental professionals come together to connect, to grow, and to move forward. Don't miss your seat at the table. Visit streamlinesummit.com and register today. We'll see you there. So with Airbnb, the fiduciary duty, are you a real estate agent or a broker?
Nope, I am not.
Okay. That's intentional, obviously.
If I was, I couldn't co-host.
All right. That's what I was saying. So I am. So I'm on the other side of the fence there. But still, look, you're a good guy. And I know you know the fiduciary duty of whatever you're doing in vacation rentals, that fiduciary duty to your guest and to yourself as an owner. So in this particular case, as the co-host, being the merchant of record in that case.
The co-host should never be the merchant of record, just FYI, as a co-host. That's the owner through Airbnb, or the Airbnb is the merchant of record. Then they distribute the funds to the owner of the property, not us, because we don't own anything. The homeowner owns their listings. They own the Airbnb listing. They own the Vrbo listing. Then the way we set them up is they own their own Stripe account. So they become the merchant of record through Stripe with Vrbo. The homeowner is the merchant of record with their direct booking site that they also own. We are not the merchant of record as a co-host. If we're doing it correctly, there are people that don't do it that way. And I would say they're the minority. And I'll tell you that I just had probably 220 to 230 people over the weekend at my Small Rock Smokies event. Steve was there. He did an unbelievable job.
I saw outtakes from that and I loved it. I did see that I saw it on LinkedIn. I love the fact that he shares so much. And the one clip that I saw was like, man, it was just it was basically I love everybody here and we're not looking for anything from you. Let us help you.
100%.
I mean, that's who he is inside. I think that's fabulous.
I can tell you that the majority of people in that room were homeowners. There's a lot that homeown and end up co-hosting because as investors, the number one thing we all have an issue with, I don't care how wealthy we are, the biggest problem is always cash, Linnell, right? It's always cash to deploy. So a lot of the people on my side of the fence, because they have the marketing skills, they have the hospitality skills, they've learned it with their own properties, and they may be making a great living. They could make $500,000 a year, but they can't save $200,000 to buy another $800,000 property and offset taxes and all those things every single year. So they turn to co-hosting. So I would say the majority of those 227 people were owners. Of those owners, probably like 20% of them also co-host. There was definitely 20 or 30% that were property managers. 2 people came up to me and talked to me about co-hosting after Steve and I both had sessions. And they said, I think I'm doing it wrong. And they own the listings and they were taking the money, no trust accounts. And then they are distributing at the end of the month. And that is not overly common. And the 2 people, I think, were not intentional in that. They just thought they were doing the right thing. And they immediately said they were going to pivot. One of them texted me last night at 11:30. And as I'm jumping in my sauna this morning, I had a 20-minute call with her and she's pivoting as of today. She's already making the changes, not to become a PM, but to give the listings back, to give that merchant of record back to the owners. Because in my opinion, we should only be handling hospitality, guest communication, guest issues, and also marketing. So like even myself, I don't even adjust pricing. I don't do revenue management. I use who I believe is the best revenue manager in our industry. This one is also a licensed broker, a property manager, and an owner and a revenue manager. So I don't even touch the revenue in that standpoint, because I think that could potentially cause issues state by state based on the regulations. At a state level, if it's the real estate board, they have no jurisdiction over me. There's zero case law. And it's ridiculous. I have a husband and wife that were there. They are co-hosting the right way in Gulf Shores, Alabama. And the PMs there turn them into the real estate board, and then they get heckled and hassled, and they're scared to death because they just got their first letter like 2 weeks ago. I said, don't worry about it. Just reply and just tell them simply how you operate and let them know they have zero jurisdiction over you. Thank you for the letter. Have a great day. If it was from the state or a municipality, that's a completely different.
It's going that way. There was something that just came up a couple of weeks ago. There's a lot going on in the property manager trying to protect the homeowner. And that's not a bad thing. That's actually a really good thing, because there are cases where there's been a complaint, Airbnb gives the money back, and it was just ridiculous. And the homeowner's out, but actually the homeowner's not, because the money's already been distributed from the property manager. The property manager's out. So, I mean, and it's not just one story. This is a widespread issue just with Airbnb. Now, let me say this, but Annie Holcomb is working with them. And actually, I like Airbnb. I've met the people when they first started, been to their headquarters. They're good people. They're not trying to do bad stuff. I mean, I'm just saying, but there have been things that have happened that need fixing, just like you're talking about, with the two industries, and fixing the issues that make it an ethical, working as someone full of integrity and doing this with property management. There are people over TikTok. I'm going to do a show on this if everything passes legal. But there are people on TikTok that are doing co-hosting. They've got millions of views. I won't tell you who they are, but I will show these videos if I'm allowed to. And I will have you back because I want you to comment on it as a co-host. But they're doing things like complaining because people left the remote control on the counter and not in front of the TV where it was designed.
I think those are the people. I don't know exactly what videos you're referring to, but I think there's multiple levels in our industry, right? And you have property managers, you have co-hosts, you have owners as really the primary three. But I think there's also influencers, which really I will refer to as content creators. A content creator is probably at the bottom. I would consider them a bottom feeder, because their allegiance isn't to a homeowner. It's probably not even to their business model. Their allegiance is to their number of likes, their number of shares, the number of followers. So they're actually a content creator. And there's a lot of content creators in my space. I'm a coach. I'm an influencer. I'm a guru. I'm a snake oil salesman, whatever you want to call me. Anybody that sells education or coaches, from Tony Robbins to Dean Graziosi, falls into one of those buckets, right? The one thing I am not is a content creator. And Steve and I had this discussion. He gets very low views for as big of an influence, not going to say influencer, as big of an influence as he is in this industry as a whole. I put him at the top of the pecking order. His absorption rate is extremely low. Mine and him and I are in the same boat. My absorption rate is extremely low. I should have hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram. I have 24,800, and I've worked very hard to get them. The reason is because we help. We don't do funny dancing videos. We don't do the content creation stuff. We're not looking to take advantage to grow followers. We're just looking to help our community. And I think that's really the fundamental difference between someone that's focal point, number one, is content creation versus service.
So I do content creation on my TikTok channel, which I have about 50,000 followers. But I do it because we're in ministry as well. And so I do a daily devotional that I believe helps business people. Can I just say that? It did me in business. So that type of content creation is service as well. But you're right. Those are bottom feeders that we're talking about. And I want to make fun of them. And I think it's hilarious enough to have a podcast about. My husband said to me, he's like, well, I was driving yesterday and he's like, you won't believe what these people said. You won't believe this. And I'm like, yeah, that's just for, like you said, it's just for attention and likes. They have one property. But I said it's worth it for us to get a laugh. Occasionally we need to do things that are fun. And this would be so much fun. And I was thinking of people that I need to have on to talk about it. I need to do one with Dirk about housekeeping. And I'd love to do one with you about co-hosting with that.
I'll have my hobbyist co-hosting t-shirt by that time. That's what I'm wearing at VRMA this year. I'm a hobbyist host on my t-shirt.
Well, that's all we have time for today, but there is more to come. Make sure you tune in next week as we continue to explore this conversation and explore more practical insights for vacation rental managers. To make sure that you don't miss it, subscribe to the Vacation Rental Show wherever you listen to podcasts And guys, if you're enjoying the show, please take a moment to rate and to review it as well. It is a simple way to show support for the show and to help more vacation rental managers discover these conversations. Hey guys, don't forget to sign up for Streamline Summit, where you will learn about all the cool things that they're doing at Streamline. This is filled with AI and new product that's coming out with Streamline. You do not want to miss this summit. If you've never been to Summit before, this is the one to go to. If you've always gone to Summit, do not miss this one. It is going to be the best ever in terms of really cool stuff that you can do with your product. And you are not going to want to miss this. And if you're not a Streamline user, come anyway. You will really enjoy seeing what they're doing at Streamline. Don't miss this summit. To sign up for Streamline Summit right now, you can go to streamlinesummit.com and there's a button you can just register now. So don't miss it. It's really going to be extraordinary, guys. This year is a year not to miss.